The 78th Highlanders Welcome to Queen Victoria is a commission tune that I wrote a few years ago, and you'll notice in the typesetting of the music that there's two composers there, my father Ray and myself. I took some of his scraps of phrases that he had started to write tunes for, and I found some attractive phrasings in here and thought I'd create the tune based on a lot of his ideas here. The tune itself, a simple 3/4 march, pretty straightforward. When you're playing a 3/4, look at the dots and the cuts and really make sure you emphasize them. They're there for a reason, to give lift to the tune. So we don't want to get onto this dum dum da da dum. We want dum ba da da dum dum da da, and I'm sort of singing a monotone rhythm there. But when you look at the tune itself, we could look at the first bar, and there's two incidents of technical embellishments that have multiple ways of playing them. Now, when I learned with what's known as the light or the open D throw, and then I moved on to the heavier one, just preference. But you can play either one that you like. So you can play, or that's fine. And with the D strike following it, many people play with one grace note, or I've always played the heavy one. I always feel that if you don't quite get 100% of that heavy one, you're still getting some sound. So in that first bar, nice and straightforward, right? Dot, cut, quarter note, quarter note. In bar 3, take your time after the high A doubling and wait for the burl to come. The first A of the burl, I believe, is where the beat falls. So it's finishing it up. Okay, so take your time with that. Try that again. Straightforward doubling. There's a few extra doublings on here. E doublings, B doublings, a burl, F doubling from high G, and that occurs in bar 5. Now, what's most important about this 3/4 retreat type march is that the melody doesn't get interrupted by trying to make a technical embellishment where that piece overpowers the melody. So what I'm saying is that at first you want to play from the high A doubling, short G to the F. You can play a half doubling, or you can just play the grace note, okay, or you can play the full doubling. Okay, now having taught this tune a few times, you'll see I'm going to hop around a little bit. The first two notes of bar 2, bar 4, bar 6. And then in the second part, bar 4. There's and in bar 6. So when we look at that, that's the one place where we're pointing sort of in reverse from the rest of the tune, where it's all dun, da, da, dot, cut note, dot, cut quarter. But here, it's coming from 2/8 notes, 1, 2, cut, dot. Okay, so watch that little spot there. When you start part 2, you'll see from the high A, there's a half doubling on F, which is just down to the F and a grace note. And then back to the high A doubling. So back to that tricky little F doubling again. And again, if you can't play it, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to affect the tune that much. It's more important that we have that and then the embellishments get added on to embellish the tune, not take over. Okay? The last bar, there's another tricky spot. D throw held and a short E to a D doubling, and it's 2 full beats. And I wrote it with a tie note so that you could keep your foot going that way. Okay, dum ba diddy dum dum ba dee da da da. Okay, so you know that's the tie notes, extra beat on there. So that's most of this tune. D throws, I play the heavy ones, you can play the light ones. I'll maybe do them both ways when I play the tune here, and I'll maybe switch around the F doublings that are in bar 5 of part 1 and bar 2 of part 2. So you want to keep that nice retreat feel. I'll go a little bit slower for now, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I added an E doubling at the end and I left one out at the back. Mostly to show you that if you're competing with the tune, you need to stick to the score. But if you're really stuck on something, leave it out until you're able to put it in. Okay, I hope you enjoy this tune.